All right, perfect. Sounds food. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see. I think we're all set. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared, and it is October 5th, 2021. So I figured we'd start off today by taking a more in-depth analysis on what has been sort of a pain point for the past couple of weeks. And that has been a majority of the heavier selling that's been occurring in NASDAQ stocks. Now, across the board, since we've been in such a relatively strong secular bull market for a long period of time, a lot of market participants are starting to ask whether the market is ready to put in some sort of significant low or basically just have a recovery bounce that's worth taking advantage of from a long participation or a bullish setup. And when we look across the board, there's certainly been some pockets of strength in the market, but as a whole, those areas do not comprise a large portion of market cap weighting for the S&P or the NASDAQ. We've seen some bullishness in our energy names and energy sector as a whole. We do have crude actually clearing the 77 to 78 print. And for reference, this is a very important inflection point for crude. Not only has it been a relative high in previous bull cycles, of which it has led into large volatility declines. We did see some of that on the most recent test, but any strong closure and acceleration above here, that is an indication that something is changing in this market, and that can lead to a breakout in the larger time frames. So we continue to see energy outperform amidst a lot of the selling pressure in the overall market. We also have natural gas, which was outperforming for a period of time, currently consolidative and highly volatile in this $6 print. So with all that pockets of strength, IWM has been holding fairly well. The Dow has had moments of relative strength, of course, not necessarily testing the previous lows from the gap down Monday. And then our SPY is somewhere right in the middle, with our NASDAQ, of course, being the weakest. So I figured we'd go through some scenarios and just kind of talk about where we've come from, where we are, and maybe some opportunities if things start to change, along with if they do not, and we see more selling pressure, what can we expect as basically additional downside in the market? So first things first, let's start off with a higher level overview. And we'll start off with just a 3-year weekly. It's worth noting that the NASDAQ has been in a very structured bullish channel ever since we hit September highs back in 2020. So essentially the breakout and buying climax high, along with the first low that was printed after this climax high, established our range or our channel price points. And as long as we're somewhat in between this price channel, it sort of acts as an area of support and resistance. We see oscillations to and from the lower and upper bounds of the channel, and a majority of the price is captured within this range, which is important for channel-based trading. So worth mentioning that the NASDAQ has had swings from high to low, And these high to low swings have often stopped near this trend line. This is our lower end trend line, and the NASDAQ is currently testing it. So that's a more simplistic analysis of the support area that we are starting to test to the downside. This is something that we have mentioned before in regards to how strong we were coming up into this upper channel. The idea being that if we did break out and hold, it would act as a change in trend, an acceleration of trend. That, of course, did not happen. We saw the pivot and the turnaround, and we are realizing all of the downside risk that is associated with this channel, basically going from that high to low. So now that we are here at this inflection point, let's start to theorize what could happen if we see a repeat of previous pullbacks. As we get into a daily, we'll start to look at what some similarities are to previous pullbacks from the channel high. Our most notable one is the one that occurred back in February and March of this year. As my pen is loading. So what we want to maybe focus on is some of the, there we go. That's still not loading. Yeah, now it's just not even working. Interesting. Well, I'll just use my cursor for now. But we want to isolate ourselves to this correction here. Basically a large drawdown that saw the NASDAQ losing approximately 11 to 12% from high to low. So the NASDAQ is an index that has the capacity to draw down roughly 12% based on the width of this channel. If we look at where we are and where we've gone, I'll just use the low since it can show this percentage change. That's not quite right. I do have some difficulty when I draw it from the high. Yeah, it's not going to show the percentage there. But essentially, this is approximately about a 10% drop in the NASDAQ. We could take the high 382.78, the low that was printed yesterday, 350.32, and just calculate that percentage difference. So all in all, we have a similar downside correction in the NASDAQ, somewhat proven by the width of this channel. Additionally, we see some wave-like structures in this most previous correction. We know that the market came down from its high, breaking all of our moving averages on the daily and starting to form the potential risk of a daily downtrend. We saw a corrective wave, basically the first pullback in this larger downside move. That, of course, formed our upper resistance and our daily lower high. And that was met with additional selling, extending this down even further. One thing that you can always do with these moves is start to look at the distance between the high and low of the first wave, basically the A wave of a corrective wave. What you can do is simply take this extension and sort of project it out from the pullback, which is often referred to as the B pullback or the B wave, and then look at your C potential wave and see if you've met this rough measured move. You can do this just with a straight line in terms of the actual price difference, but oftentimes you can also use the slope depending on how aggressive the momentum is, i.e. if you have the same relative momentum and sort of downward pressure, that can often lead to that overextension if the momentum is accelerating on the C wave. But in terms of just pure measurement, you can also see that we are near the same price difference relative to the pullback. So that potentially could be our C wave, which often sets up for a relatively larger bounce. Essentially, the bounce that could occur at C often either wants to retest the high of the B wave or even potentially go slightly higher before seeing the larger supply zone, which is still existing around 375 in the NASDAQ. So those are some other potential ideas for whether we can expect something like a possible bounce. We're also noting that the NASDAQ is starting to pick up in volume over the last couple of sessions. We saw this large down move basically after the B wave was completed, and this large down move had some of our largest volume, breaking both the bounce retracement and also breaking the low that was set on Monday's session. As we're getting into this new lower demand zone around 350, around channel support, and essentially coming to retest areas that we haven't seen since back in late June, we're seeing another uptick in volume. So it's worth paying attention both as a bull and a bear, whether or not the dominant direction is still in control, or are we starting to see higher volume and shifts in sentiment. That, of course, can be observed on shorter time frames, usually with something like a volume profile. Now, as we dig into a lower time frame, we'll go ahead and throw up our normal volume profile study. It's worth noting that over the past 30 days, we are below our VA low, basically our VA range. And oftentimes, when simply playing the probabilities of whether you are extended, you often want to see a move away both from VPOC, which sits approximately at 361. I would say 360 as a more psychological area. You can see the market spent a lot of time in this area. But additionally, the fact that we are below about 70% of the trading volume over the past 30 days, or sorry, 10 days, my mistake. Which just goes to show that not only has the selling been prevalent, but the selling might be starting to get away from value, which often leads to an extreme, in which case you can play either the move away from the extreme if you have the right conditions, along with a move back to value, which of course needs the right triggers and signals, which is what we're looking for currently. Now, additionally, if you're looking to really get into the weeds, one thing you can do outside of the larger volume profile study is you can start to add something like a TPO profile and aggregate it inside of each daily trading range. I believe you can do this with volume profile. I'm familiar with this study, so in the interest of time, just showing how to configure that. The only thing you have to change is time per profile. That in this case, we want to look at the day profile. And on expansion, we want to go ahead and change this to no, which places it on every single day as opposed to an aggregation. Go ahead and apply that. And this allows us to basically see a market profile from day to day. Very interesting for someone who's looking maybe for a swing, because if the market continues to tell you that value is moving lower, basically every day value in that particular setup is shifting in your direction, you can either remain confident in your swing setup or essentially look for your target to be met before even taking profit. Basically, you don't have anything of major concern if the market is validating the momentum and direction of your setup. As a bull, however, we are looking for that to change. We're looking for that to shift. And ultimately, when we have the larger volume profile over the past 10 days, along with yesterday's session, which if you're familiar with market profile is roughly a double distribution type of day. We had some pre-market action setting up VPOC, And then we had this lower bound trading range, which was another distribution area where two volume nodes formed. If the market can start to recover, a very short-term idea is simply a move back to this balance area near the highs. And ultimately that puts us within range of approximately a 4-day balance area, albeit it was slowly moving down throughout the week. So short and long-term setup, long-term being a couple of days versus just an intraday, we do have some scenarios here that may lead to a correction in the NASDAQ against the dominant direction, which is down. Now, as I remove all of those studies, we shift back to our daily. And another thing that may be of interest is the idea of having confluence with other corrections. We know that this one has pulled back to a similar fashion as this one. And we know that that correction can be achieved very quickly with the NASDAQ based on what the bond market is doing. Back in early or late February and early March, the bond market was selling off and interest rates were spiking based on that sell-off. So that did provide pressure in the NASDAQ stocks, similar to what we're seeing now. But more from just a indicator point of view, I'm gonna take off one of these that I have just as a default set. We may also want to look across some more common indicators. One of the more common ones is, of course, the MACD. And as we see from this correction, the MACD did cycle from a cross of these lines. Momentum moved down, the histogram showing that bearish momentum, and then the eventual reduction of bearish momentum leading to a cross. And ultimately, this cross did not define the low of the NASDAQ, but we know that the market was able to start recovering from this area and saw some additional upside from this point. So what we're looking for is similarities with the relative low. What does the MACD look like whenever we get to this zone? Well, the bearish momentum is high, and we have a wide disparity between our green and I'll say purple lines. These do have names. I am blanking on them at the moment. We can go into studies and just look at that. That's going to be our value and average lines. Anyway, so what's similar about that? Well, we're seeing the same bearish momentum. We're actually seeing similarities in the fact that the momentum did pick up mid-correction and got to essentially an extreme. We got extreme readings on this histogram, and the divergence between these two lines became wide, which means simply that the momentum may be a bit too far extended for additional downside without either a correction over time or a correction over price. Ultimately, we don't know which is going to occur. The MACD is not proficient at necessarily projecting that, but we do know that the momentum is getting into those extremes. And you can see that just with a simple line showing that we're hitting roughly the same levels. As we look at something like RSI and do the exact same type of analysis, we see that the RSI during these swing lows was actually not even hitting lower end and oversold conditions. In fact, in the NASDAQ, there was a relative low in the RSI. And if you look at a previous correction down to the channel support, this was a higher low inside of the NASDAQ itself, but the RSI showed relative lows. What we're seeing now is a change. We're seeing more oversold conditions. Once again, these are just conditions of the market. They are not triggers for long or short trades. without other indicators. And oftentimes what you want to be doing is focusing during these conditions, looking for confluence across the board. Oftentimes what I like to do is look for lower time frames that are also hitting these extremes. For example, if we had had a gap down and had something like the 4-hour and 1-hour charts all hitting RSI oversold conditions, that could easily facilitate a more corrective bounce over the next session or two. So this is something to observe. And if the market does want to stay oversold for a while, we may see more of that correction over time, with the idea that if we see a spike either through this relative low, that could be a signal for the potential for a bullish correction. And then finally, our stochastics, the idea being here that these often like to cycle as an oscillator, going from relative highs and basically the slow and fast lines converging and crossing, leading to cycle lows. We look once again back at the previous correction that we're comparing this to, we want to note that this Stoch has gotten into, once again, the more oversold areas, with our fast line, of course, hitting oversold first, spending a few sessions in this condition, and then leading to a cross, which actually was relatively good at timing the bottom of this pullback, or basically this correction of the NASDAQ. Additionally, we see it here, a cross in the Stokes did lead to a higher low and an eventual momentum move back to the upside of the channel. So once again, this is the time to be focused, because we have our fast line, which has already crossed into oversold conditions, but we have our slow line slowly converging to this area. If we see something like a cross, it may be worth looking at other indicators, whether it be through price, VPA, or just relative volume and momentum, and see if things are aligning more towards the bullish side, with the understanding that we still are in a downtrend. And this is sort of the upper end of what we want to be anticipating for the time being. If the market is going to show us similar signals, then what we need to do is be prepared for what the market did in previous corrections. If you notice back in time, this was a low, but the market didn't necessarily V-bottom off of this low. We actually pulled back to roughly the 20 and the 50, and we found about a week and a half of consolidation. If you were with us at this time, you'll note that this is some sort of channel that formed after a larger correction bounce, and this channel broke bullish, which led to momentum. You'll notice the MACD showing that bullish momentum starting to trigger as we cross the zero line, especially, but mostly with the histogram. So these are some of the things that maybe we could be watching for. Either taking some sort of relative long position here with the understanding that we are basing our analysis off of similar pullbacks, similar support zones, and some of these oversold conditions. This is a more risky area to consider getting long, because the market simply has not proven anything yet. You are anticipating a move, and you are doing so in a relatively specific area, something that has proven itself before with similar signals. We also have our weekly, noting that if this setup does fail, and we'll talk about some of those risks in just a moment, if the setup fails here, then it would be the first time that we have a weekly close below the 20 without a major corrective move following. Something like this would be a prime example. You'll note here that during the pullback we just analyzed, we actually had topping tails near this support. So another possible confirmation is seeing how this weekly closes. seeing if the market is able to recover. And ultimately, if it pulls back to the 20, that is essentially VPOC. That is 360 to 361. And it essentially calculates a short-term recovery trade going from low to high inside of the volume profile. So how you set up the trade and how you construct your risk to reward is, of course, based upon how long you wish to hold the position and how much upside are you expecting. Of course, with the understanding that if this does not work, it opens the door for something like the 50 period on the weekly. If we go back in time, we have not been to the 50 ever since COVID bounced lows and recovery. But the market does like to come back to this area during larger corrections. You can see it back in time, roughly, looks like June of 2019. So our major risk factors with this analysis continues to be what's going on in the bond market. Bonds have been holding near this low for about 5 sessions so far, which has led to essentially no major reactions inside of interest rates. You'll note that the Qs have still been selling, even though nothing really has been occurring inside of the bond market as of the past week. So if interest rates start to spike once again, there may be more pressure put on, even though we are getting extended. Additionally, something like a Bollinger Band on the daily. I didn't want to bring that one up because we haven't looked at it before, but it is something that shows the type of overextension that we're starting to achieve. Additional risks are in the form of individual companies. The likes of Facebook had a very significant gap down and sell-off yesterday, and that was more based around catalyst news around the company itself. It wasn't so much just that all tech is selling, and Facebook certainly took a lot of that downside, but this is specific to the company. And therefore, if we see more downside pressure in Facebook alone, it is worth mentioning that Facebook has the capacity to sell off for a long time. This is back when the Cambridge Analytica information came out, and you'll note that Facebook actually pulled down for a period of multiple weeks, all the way down to the 200 period on the weekly. So it just shows the type of selling pressure that this company can have with the right information. Additionally, some of our strong stocks have broken down in this past week. Google has been outperforming both during some of the selling and just in general. It's one of the strongest big market cap names in both the NASDAQ and the SPY. It was up roughly 60% on the year after seeing this correction. So if Google, for example, does not hold and starts to see more selling pressure, especially as we start to enter something like the earnings season in the next month or so, that will be noteworthy and can lead to more downside. And finally, with stocks like Apple and Microsoft, you may want to consider doing the same type of analysis. Apple has a very similar channel to the NASDAQ. And if you note, Apple sold off at the channel highs. It is no different than what the NASDAQ did. Apple likes to retrace to this support area, pull all the way to its channel highs, and put up large buying climaxes, which lead to swing lows. So when it comes to risk to reward, if you're looking at Apple on the weekly, it can give you a very clear picture of where risk exists for the long side and where risk exists for the short side, basically the low to high progression of this bullish channel. So it's obvious in retrospect, but seeing it both now as we're starting to enter these extremes, along with keeping it in your thesis as we move forward, these are the types of analyses that can get you into position whether it be short term, something like a bounce play, as we talked about, more of an intraday or swing setup, along with potentially positioning yourself for a recovery of NASDAQ stocks. And that would be, of course, if you are still bullish on some of these names. Um, as we move forward, looking at different option plays are certainly a way to go with this type of analysis, because at the end of the day, we don't really know if the market is going to simply move higher from this spot or start to just move sideways, basically to not have a bias in direction. And if it does the latter, premium selling strategies, such as potentially selling some downside premium along with selling some farther out of the money upside premium, noting that the market's going to take some time in order to pull away from the support, a couple of weeks in the case of the last pullback. These can be some advantageous strategies. You could start to basically collect some credit while you wait for this market to either recover or potentially break down further. And at that point, you would start to protect or roll your downside position. Additionally, if you are bullish, you may not necessarily want to step in full risk. And therefore, you may be looking more for like a low risk, low reward setup, something like a vertical spread, an in-out type of spread where you're buying in the money, selling out of the money, and basically just trying to define your risk. Ultimately, if you're going out here with shares, the risk is that you get larger sort of stop hunts and basically a liquidation break if this fails. We need to be prepared for those events as we've seen them in key stocks. And these are stocks that ultimately have been leading the market higher and are starting to pull back severely. These are major bear market-esque corrections in stocks like Facebook at this time. So worth mentioning, that's almost 20% based on what I was seeing there. So worth mentioning, worth discussing. And as we wrap up today, just start to pull your thesis together, looking for those opportunities, because we are entering conditions, locations, and ultimately we're looking for the win. We're looking for the trigger and the signal. So with that said, I'm Jared. This is Engineering the Market. Stay tuned for pre-market prep and begin gathering some ideas for how you're going to take advantage of this correction. So trade safe. We'll talk more tomorrow.
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market prep. I hope everyone is having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Good morning, buddy. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing real good. We had a pretty interesting day yesterday, guys. Let's hop into that right away here on our watch list. The first three on my list, GM. This was not good. Let's show you guys how this was. Here's GM. Again, I found it not to be great, and I really didn't look at it as much. I had Tesla also, which kind of struggled a little bit for the first hour, then finally broke down here. So that was a nice short. And mRNA was the top three that I have, and this was just pure chop, guys. Just really nothing happening. Now the next three, I had Apple. Apple was just an amazing short. This thing you can see here, beautiful open range breakdown out of the gates. You get the nice little pullback here towards the VWAP. You could take continuation on there. You had a couple of ABC reverse ABCD patterns, especially if you look at the 1 minute and you get a closer look at the time frames. You can see how many opportunities you had on here. And the tough part about this one is that many traders start looking for reversals, and it was not the time to do that. And usually reversals are tough to trade before 11 a.m. when the stock is trending heavily in one direction. When you see this, I try to avoid taking reversals into like after 11 because it gets very tough. And even then, you didn't get a reversal on Apple at no point yesterday. Here we have an AMC, guys. Also a nice drop here, beautiful continuation as well. And the last one that I think all of us traded, I think the whole community got in on this one, was Facebook. And I added this one to our list last minute, right? Facebook wasn't doing much. Norm, I think you had mentioned it. When we looked at it, it was around here,
Yeah, well, I
right?
mentioned it for an entirely different reason than what took
Yes.
place yesterday.
Yes.
Obviously, I mentioned it and I said it's not really doing anything right now.
Hmm.
Might be a good thing to keep on the secondary list just in case something happens, with the after the 60 minutes deal. Nobody
Yep.
anticipated what took place yesterday.
Yes, yes. It started to get going around what 8:45 or so. We start to see the movement happening here, and we're like, yeah, let's add this to our list. And glad we did, guys. Look how beautiful this thing traded yesterday. It's just an amazing drop here, and it never really looked up to a reverse at any point. So nice trade on Facebook here. Not Baba. I'm sorry. BA did get better later after about an hour or so. Did have a beautiful drop here. So if you were watching BA, I know a lot of people had this one on deck as well. That was a nice drop. They're losing some of the moving averages in the low of the day at that time. So pretty nice trade there on BA also. So again, pretty good day. We had three that were horrible, and then three that were very very good, and then some possibles that traded amazing. So hopefully that turned out okay for you as well. If you're watching these. All right, let's get over to our watch list for today. Our gappers list this morning. Let's see what we have going on the gappers list. We have a couple of things in the green.
Growing.
Yeah, it's starting to grow now. And I see this some names that we're aware of. I see some Bitcoin stuff on here, some low flow stocks in the way there. We got Oxy also on deck again. Again, Oxy been very active. A lot of volume this morning, 845,000. So we'll see what's going on there. And only Ride selling down this morning, down 7%. So we'll see what's going on there as well.
CFC, thank you.
Yes, CFC, thank you so much for that super chat. $5 bomb there. Appreciate you very much. Thank you for the support. And again, everything's going to our charity. It is what is it?
Breast cancer
Breast cancer
research
research, right?
well,
Yeah.
I can't speak. Yep.
Yep. So looking forward to that, man. It's gonna be a fun. And again, remember Andrew's matching everything dollar for dollar. All right, cool. So let's see what we have this morning, guys. Starting with ANVS. This one on our list today. Actually, no, we skipped one thing. Let's go over to our market polls. Norm, is any announcements coming up for today and the week?
We got services PMI 945 is the market number, and then ISM at 10. So we'll see some inflation data out of that. It should be, we'll see if it does much. It's interesting. Like I said yesterday, we should start to get some more volume back into the markets here soon. We'll see how the SPY holds. Won't dig into that too much as Jared touches on it for a full half hour and his deal leading up to us. But yeah, we're kind of in an interesting position here. I keep getting texts from people. Markets. One buddy texted me yesterday. SPY 300 by the end of the month. I was like, "You're out of your mind." One thing about that
That's
is,
a push.
people keep saying stuff like that, and I'm not really sure of a market that crashed in a circumstance where everybody was anticipating it.
That's a good
You know,
point. That's a good point. And we hear those conversations, especially from I get from some family members here,
Mm-hmm.
here, here, and here. And look what has happened.
Well,
So
you can do
yes,
that all the way back, going back
oh,
and
we
back and
can,
back and back and
yeah,
back.
yeah. So again, these crashes happen when something big like COVID, right? The housing market, right? I mean, these are real big things. So I'm with you there, Norm. All right, guys, let's get to our list this morning. I'm going to go ahead and let's get rid of this stuff there, and we'll start looking at ANVS this morning. There's low flow
You
stocks sitting at
missed
five.
AGFI.
Oh, let's go right.
AGFY, excuse
Oh,
me.
yeah. Let me scroll up
Yankee.
here. Yep, AGFY this morning. Let's get our bottom charts to kind of get in line here. All right, so volume right now 205,000. Again, not a whole lot going on, guys. For a low flow stock, this has nothing going on. 1 minute doesn't look good. The 5 is not going to look any better. Again, it's just not really in play. ANVS this morning, 5.5 million. Again, no volume. Sitting on the American Stock Exchange, which I really do not like. I mean, something about that exchange, that the tickers there, for me, don't trade very well. I think their price action is a little bit funky. So either way, even this could be in the best exchange, doesn't matter. It looks horrible. Price, not the price, sorry. The volume is very light, up 10%, no good.
And I can't
yeah.
help but be a 13-year-old boy when I see ANVS and want to think that's a U. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yes. Oh man. BTU guys. This was on our list yesterday. Had a couple of good days. How did it trade? I took it off my list yesterday. How did it actually trade here? I mean, it did end the day somewhat green here. I'm not sure. Without looking at the price action, I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure if anybody has looked at this. Again, they popped up. We actually, you know who looked at this? Brian. Brian, I think, took a trade on this one yesterday. He did call it
Well,
out.
a swing or
Was it a swing trade?
day trade? I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's got swing potential, great swing potentials. If you scroll out of that, how'd you like to be in that from about February when it was $2?
Oh yeah, for sure,
I mean, it's coal, and there's just no mining of coal anymore. So the coal price is skyrocketing because of it. You still need coal, and that's what you get.
Yeah.
I don't know,
So I'm not sure about day trade on this one, guys. Again, we'll keep it off the list for now. Here's BTBT. I see a couple of Bitcoin plays here. BTBT is on here with 108,000. Again, this is one of my least favorite ones out of the Bitcoin stuff. I really like Mara. They tend to get better volume, better price action. They're all up a little bit. Looks like 2.3 here this morning, 180. Maybe a possible. Let's see if that gets any better. If there's any love for Bitcoin today, we'll put Mara on here. I think back to the top, we'll have MRO. And MRO here, 2.6, 231,000. Daily looks okay. I don't think we traded this one before in the past. The last couple of days, man, they've been ripping here pretty nice. Let's see what's going on as far as they're trading. Oh, that is brutal. This is yesterday. So you can see how choppy it is. Yes, they moved up, but just look how they did it. It's just not clean at all.
It goes back to all this. I mean,
Yeah.
MRO, APA, Oxy, the oil companies popping on oil and nat gas prices shooting up. So
I'm gonna go with, out of all these guys, I'm gonna go with Oxy. I think Oxy's as we know, the cleanest
usually gets the
one.
smoothest action. Yeah.
You can see it yesterday. Look how clean it was. Yesterday, no, this was before, but you can see their daily pretty clean. I don't think yesterday traded that well. I had that as a possible. Yeah, yesterday was very choppy. They didn't trade that well yesterday. But let's add Oxy here, guys. Probably the better one out of all of these. We have Mara. Hut. What is Hut again? Hut is
Bitcoin mining.
Bitcoin mining. Why is XENE coming up here? Hold on. Hut. Here we go. Yeah, no good, guys. Not looking good there. XENE here. This one was active yesterday. But the entire move happened on, I think it was right pre-market. We didn't really get anything after the market opened. So I'm not sure about this one, guys. They got decent volume today. Wait a minute. They're low flow. 38 million. No, that's not great volume for 38 million shares flow. Only 348,000 up 2.6. And look at the pre-market action. Again, great day yesterday though.
20-cent spread, $30 stock. That's a pretty hefty spread. The other thing, it doesn't seem to get smooth order flow, but maybe it does. I know so you've got some kind of conflicting things here. They had some positive drug treatment news yesterday, and then at the end of the day after the market closed, they announced a possible secondary. So, we'll see.
Yeah, it's a lot going on there. Again, just too much uncertainty on that one, guys. I'm gonna keep it off the list here. And here's Norm's favorite stock, Be Big, making an appearance, and this one is up
Is that a fat
2%.
joke?
It was not at all.
Okay.
I just know you hate this stock. And this one here, guys, it is up 2%, 120,000 shares traded. Again, I think this thing trades horrible. I'm going to keep it off my list this morning. All right, here we have Ride. Ride is gapping down. Any news on Ride? Because usually that's a big drop. Oh, man, look at their daily, too. I did not see this before. Look at that.
I believe it was Morgan Stanley came out with a downgrade with a price target of $2.
Wow.
Well,
That
you know,
is-
they don't like it when you sell in order to stay in business, you sell your only production facility.
Yeah, that is not a good news for these guys. Again, it's just been getting killed here, guys. Could be a one to watch. Do we have shares for short on this? We do. Not that I want to put a
Hamish.
bias in your head, but we do have shares for short on this one. We'll keep an eye on this one. Yeah. Okay, cool, guys. Not a big list this morning. Norm, anything you like on your end? I know we're gonna look at the favorites, Apple, right? Maybe Facebook
well,
again.
a lot of people are calling out OCGN. It's been on our gappers a lot recently. It's not right now, I think, because of an ATR reason.
Could be.
That would be my guess. Let me see. Yep, 45 cent.
Yeah, just
ATR.
barely missing it.
It does have some news on a COVID drug. They're supposed to be approved at WHO or something today. So that's going to be in play. Don't know if it'll be worthwhile. I'm not a huge fan of $7 stocks, but
Yeah, and this one could be funky.
Yeah, it can. So I'm
Yeah.
grasping at straws here, though, brother.
Yeah, I agree. I'll throw it on here, but we might end up moving this down to like a possible or something. I mean, I know we're going to look at Apple. Apple was great yesterday. We'll see where that goes today. Volume already 685, so definitely want to keep an eye on that one. Facebook is going to be interesting today on what's their next step. They have amazing volume. If you watch Facebook quite a bit, you know in their pre-market they don't get this type of volume. 517,000 shares traded already. That is amazing volume. So I'm definitely watching Facebook for a continuation play here, up or down. Who knows what's going to happen? But their pre-market action very active this morning. All right, let's take it to the room, guys. See what you guys like this morning. Shimmy, you're giving us CCL this morning. Let's take a look. CCL is up 1.3, 184,000. I don't like the volume. I wish they had more volume. And look at it yesterday. Yesterday was not great, man. Yesterday was very choppy. Seemed like one drop here, but no continuation of the 5-minute quick reversal, which is very tough to take a trade on here, right? And then here it doesn't really break out, comes right back down. So that is a very tough open for CCL. And then after it does this, guys, look, it does nothing else for the entire day. So yes, this looks good here on the daily. And you do have a nice daily pattern forming here, but this was a horrible intraday trade. There's just no continuation here. There's no real good patterns on this one. Can you get a quick scalp on here? Yeah, but that's difficult to catch that trade to go against the current here when things are dropping, right? So I'm not sure about CCL, guys. We'll put it as a possible, but most likely I'm probably not going to keep that one on there. Heading on down, Nvidia. Wait, just lost my spot here. No, I'm good. And Napa first. Let's take a look at Napa here. No, that's not good. What is this? Napa stuff. Yeah, no volume here, guys. I mean, unless you have something, unless you know something we don't know, that's not a good one. So let's look at Nvidia. Nvidia this morning at 223,000. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they could be okay. Had a nice day yesterday as far as movement, right? Not really nice because it's red, but it has some kind of movement here yesterday. But again, you could have been watching Apple, Facebook, and any other ones that were moving in the same direction yesterday. OCGN we have on deck. XOM. XOM is actually taken off here nicely as XOM. 224,000. I do have Oxy here, but XOM does look interesting though. Looks like it wants to just rip here. It could be interesting. Again, this is a foreign stock though. It's Exxon Mobil, I believe. It's Exxon Mobil.
It's not foreign.
It's not foreign, right. It's not foreign, but they trade so bad. They almost look foreign with their daily. let's put it on here, guys. Today could be a difference with everything going on, as Norm mentioned. I do have Oxy. That's probably the better one. But I got to say, their pre-market action is looking pretty decent this morning. So, Sarah, yeah, we'll keep that one as a possible for now alongside Oxy. Let's take a look at Apple. We have, Apple daily is beautiful. I do like that one. BA turned out great later in the day yesterday. This morning, they are pretty light on volume. Not that you can put a whole lot of weight into this. They usually tend to not have the best pre-market action anyway. Their daily is really messy, though, trying to get into some kind of a point here. So we'll see where that goes. I'm not going to add them today, though. The volume is too light at the moment. Roblox, RBLX, is that Roblox? I believe so. Yes, and again, I think they are a horrible intraday trading stock, guys. So I don't think they move further. Order flow hasn't been great. I don't know if it has gotten better since we haven't looked at it in some time. But look at this daily here. I'm just not a big fan of this. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of this at all. Their volume is a little bit on the lighter side as well, around 8 million for the entire day. Even on this great move here, they're not doing it with great volume, which is not good. Microsoft. TISI before Microsoft. TISI. No, I mean, this is just a horrible action right now. Look at the pre-market you're getting here, pretty much flat. If you look at yesterday's intraday action. I mean, guys, unless they have some huge catalyst that's going to change this type of trading, this is not something you want to be looking at. It doesn't matter if they're up 12.7 with 718,000 shares traded. This doesn't look like it's going to trade well at all. And I just, when it comes to trading, it's all about what stocks you have on your watch list. And yes, there might be an opportunity where that stock is the best one today, but the odds are is not going to be, right? You rather have better luck watching Apple, Microsoft, Facebook. You're going to have better luck watching those than you would that one. Microsoft this morning, again, big drop yesterday, as a lot of things did trade very well. This morning, very light on volume. I don't see a whole lot going on here. I'd rather keep an eye on Apple for that. They have better volume this morning, and they have a beautiful daily as well. NEO was active a couple of days ago. Today, not seeing a whole lot of volume. Huge drop yesterday. Wow, I did not see that. Huge drop yesterday. We were busy with Facebook, but nice drop yesterday. Possible continuation today, but the volume is not there this morning. So I'll keep it off the list for now. Oxy, we have that one. That's good. All right, I think we guys are pretty much covering some of the stuff we had. APA is another one you can watch. Again, Norm mentioned this already. APA, MRO, these are all somewhat in play with everything going on with the gas prices. I'm going to keep my eyes on Oxy. And also have XOM here. They're actually moving pretty well, pretty active in the pre-market this morning with a nice little decent couple of days here. So we'll see where that goes. All right, let's see what we have over on our YouTube chat, guys. Starting with APA, we do have already GM. I had a GM on my list yesterday. It was horrible. I didn't really see anything great on it compared to everything else we had, like Facebook, Apple, even AMC yesterday was a nice short. See a lot of people throwing out DKNG. What's going on with DKNG this morning? Extremely light volume, unless there's any kind of catalyst. I don't see a lot going on here. Their daily is very interesting, slamming up against this area of support over at 48. So maybe we're looking to lose it this time. I mean, we came down here, right? We hit the base, we gapped up, popped up pretty nice here, sold off yesterday, and now we're just hanging out here. So not really doing a whole lot, extremely light volume. But if we break down this 48, that could be very, very interesting. I just don't see a whole lot going on right now. APA, we do have so
Matthew on YouTube asked me what if I like Donkey Kong, DKNG, DraftKings. I replied, it's never nice to me. We have those tickers. I mean, I know I've seen people take great trades on it. Yeah, it's never treated me well, so I tend to stay away from it unless it's just crystal clear.
I agree. One of those tickets for me is
doesn't
like
mean
SQ.
Somebody else can. Yeah,
SQ is one of those for me. I mean, I seen Thor, Brian, John, Mike just completely crush this thing, and every time I touch it, I lose money. So I don't care how good it looks. I just stay away from it. And it's usually something about the price action, right? The price action is a little bit funky. It's just you can't read it properly. I don't know, but SQ is one of those for me.
Well, it's just like some golfers like holes that go to the right, some that go to the left. It fits their eye, doesn't fit their eye. You know, sometimes it can be a great trading stock, and it just doesn't work for you.
Yep. And then it's playing like that. Bob is another one that we can go on and on. That was a good one. You see tons of trades that people do great on. I can't trade it that well. All right, Disney. Let's take a look here. Disney this morning. I don't think they're really in play. Again, let's see. Well, there we go. Extreme volume, extreme light volume right now. Nothing happening, guys. Only 9,000 shares. Again, I don't think these guys are in play unless there's any news or the market completely falls apart here. Maybe drags this thing down. Actually, if it falls apart, it might drag this up because people will stay home. I don't know, but again, it's just not really in play, guys. Twitter, TWTR. No, not doing a whole lot. Again, I think a lot of these stocks is just kind of quiet right now, guys. This might get the volume and pick a direction after the market open. But as far as having on our list right now, we don't see anything that looks different than some of the other ones that we looked at. Again, I don't think it's really in play right now. But at the market open, anything can change. CIE, guys, I don't like this stock. I know it gets thrown out a lot here. It's sitting on the American Stock Exchange, and this always has this insane number of shares traded, 3.7 today, right? So again, it's just this stock is funky for me. I don't like the price action, and I don't like stuff on the American Stock Exchange, to be honest. I think they trade very weird. MARPS, is that a ticker?
Yeah, unfortunately.
No, this shouldn't be. This should not be a ticker. I mean, this is...
It's moving this morning,
yeah.
But that's a royalty trust of a bunch of oil and gas leases. I've never traded anything like that. It's just, I don't know.
I get why they're moving, right? With everything going on, we get it. I don't know what to expect on something like this.
I don't have a plan for that. So
yeah. What is their flow? Just curious.
And Chris is generally correct there about not trading things with 5 letters in the
five letters in the ticker. That's true. That is very true. It looks like a SPAC there. All right, guys, let's stop here. I think we have an okay list. We have Oxy here moving. We have Rye, which is the only one that's probably down this morning. So that could be interesting. OCGN, very active, 2.1 million. Apple is on deck here. I think that's always fun to watch. And Facebook has amazing volume this morning. Again, these guys normally do not get this type of volume. So looking forward to that. Let's go to our community events and announcements, and we'll come back and take a closer look at this list.
All right. Tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, you've got Peter and Jared doing Demystifying Market Cycles. They're just going to talk about market cycles, how those works, and the typical path that markets take through the cycles. Then next week, Kyle, 8 p.m. on Tuesday, we'll be doing the Advanced DAS Hotkeys for Risk Management. That's part 2 of that. Then Wednesday night, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, Dr. Kenneth Reed talking about 7 consistency killers, and Kreda will be talking about overcoming money mindset blocks at 5 p.m. next week, special time, since she's in Europe. All right. All the super chat donations are going to National Breast Cancer Foundation this month in honor of all the women of BBT. We appreciate you all very much. And if you want to participate in the member trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade of the day, post it on Twitter with as much commentary as you can. Tag at Bearable Traders at MikeB_BBT and at NormBBT. Also use hashtags BBT Family, Day Trading, and Stock Market. We'll pick a winner each day and announce it on Twitter and in the room. And then all those trades of the day are eligible for trade of the week, which is voted on by the team over the weekend and announced on Monday. If you're watching on YouTube and haven't tried the chat, you can use the promo code PREMARKET24. It'll get you a discount off the intro membership. All you do is go to bearbulltraders.com, scroll down. It's about halfway down the page, and you'll see that button that says Test Drive Now. Click that and then enter the promo code PREMARKET24. It'll reduce it. It will only charge you once. It does not renew. It will not charge you again unless you actively go choose that you'd like to continue on with either a monthly or an annual membership. Speaking of annual memberships, use the promo code FALL40 to get 40% off the Elite Annual Membership, which includes all the webinars we were described and all the archived ones.
All right. Thank you very much, Norm. All right, guys, let's get to it. I see some people throwing out here mRNA. What do we have going on there? It could be interesting. I mean, it could be interesting. Possible. We'll throw that on there. And also I saw another one here. What was it? Bank of America. We were talking about Bank of America. What's going on there? They're up 1.1. Yeah, the daily's interesting on it. I don't see huge volume, but could be worth taking a second look at, especially with the market conditions. See how the banking sector is being affected here, good or bad. All right, guys, here's Oxy. Again, Oxy popping up here, 2.5, good volume. Let's do some, actually, how many we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's perfect. Let's take a quick look at our possibles first. See if there's anything we can actually move up. So we have Mara here. Mara might be interesting if we can get more volume. CCL starting to pop up here. That could be a good possible as well. Nvidia's got good volume for what they are usually doing. ExxonMobil, I mean, I have it here. They got 302,000. They're looking a little bit better than Oxy this morning. So we'll see as far as the price action. mRNA low volume and Bank of America low volume right now. We'll keep those on there. All right, so I think we have a pretty decent list for right now. As far as levels, Oxy is hitting 32 here. The highs from yesterday are being touched on right now. Above that, we do have a level at 33 to be exact, and then all the way up here at 33.48. So 2 levels towards the top there for our most recent highs. Pretty much got you covered. Towards the bottom, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. On here, you can see here the beautiful daily this thing has. A nice daily coming up, slamming down to 30 here, finding support, and then going up again here. So that's pretty nice. I think towards the bottom of the price action, the only thing you really need to add, guys, is going to be this low of the pre-market, 32.02. Outside of that, I don't think you need to add anything else. I think you're pretty much set. Here is Ride this morning, the only one that's gapping down on our gappers list today. So that could bring them some attention this morning. We'll see. They are down 7.7, 1.3 million shares traded on some really just bad news here on their business model, just getting killed the last couple of days. They are on short selling restrictions, but we do have shares for short. You can see a little S on there, and we have about, that's not a lot, 300,000. It's not a lot, but we do have them for right now, so you can take advantage of that. Heading towards the bottom, we do have a level over here for 478. So that's good right there. And then I think outside of that, you're pretty much set, guys. I don't think you need to add anything else. Previous day close towards the top, highs and lows towards the top there. I think you are doing pretty good this morning. So all right there. OCGN today, they are, man, I thought they had good news, right? Was it positive news we were just talking about these guys? They're continuing to drop here. Looking like they want to go back to that previous day close. So again, very active though, 2.2 million shares traded. So I like what I'm seeing there. Definitely going to keep an eye on this one. High of the pre-market at the moment, 764. Above this wacky daily the last couple of weeks, 796. I think those are 2 pretty good levels. You can see how much touches we have on this, guys. Just look at this all over the place here. Tons of days opening, closing, or slamming their wicks up against this level. So that's good there. Towards the bottom, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Their previous day close, just right in between the highs from the last 2 days, is right on here at 710. So we could mark that down. Low of the pre-market 710 there, just between those 2 levels. And it looks like we're heading back to the low of the pre-market right now. So question, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate you very much there. So your question is, do you guys know if SSR or whatever that short thing is turned on or off for OCGN today? No, it's not turned on. And you can tell by, I'm not sure if you guys can see this over here, right over here. You should be able to tell if it's on short selling restriction or not. So right now, we only have an S. That means it's shortable. If you had, for example, Ride, look at Ride. Again, I don't know if you can see this corner all the way over here. Ride has SSR.S, right? So it is on short selling restriction, but it is shortable. If you only had SSR, that means that it is on short selling restriction, but your broker does not have shares for short. I remember, guys, SSR is not based on broker. So you can't go to... if, for example, on Ride, if you go to any broker, it's going to be the same thing, right? This is set by the exchange, not by the broker. The S, whether inventory is available or not, that is set by the broker. Your broker decides whether they have inventory or not on there to short a unit, right? That could vary by broker. Some brokers have it. Some brokers you can actually locate inventory with. You can do that with IB, but some brokers do allow you to do that. So Hopefully that'll answer your question. But thank you so much for this $5 bomb there. Appreciate it very much. That's going to be going to the charity of the month, and also matched by Andrew. So thank you for that. Thank you for the support there. All right, perfect, guys. So this is right. I think we're set on levels here. OCGN, we are pretty good as well on OCGN right now. Again, just very active, 2.3. Here is Apple this morning. They got almost 800,000 shares traded. It will be fun to see what it's going to end up like today. High of the pre-market 139.97. That's all you need to add towards the top. You got a great level here over at 142, which we can remove this because that is basically our high from yesterday right on there, that 142. So you got a very strong level there at the moment. Heading towards the bottom, we have our lows from yesterday at around 138. Do we have anything below that just in case? Just in case things take a turn to the bottom here. 137.34, guys. Another level here as well on Apple. So you're pretty much set there. Again, I'm looking forward to see how this market is going to open up, how Apple is going to be, how Facebook is going to be today. They have great volume. They're popping up a little bit. They're as high probably above 1% or more. They're down now to only 75% of no, I'm sorry, excuse me, over 1.5% slightly here. But right now they're giving some back, so we'll have to see. Low of the pre-market at the moment. Is it marking this 327? Yeah, it is marking. No, it's not marking that. No, it is. It is marking this right here. So that's the low of the pre-market right now. We'll see 137. Excuse me, 327.04. There we go, 327.04. So we'll slam a level there as well. We'll see where this goes. High of the pre-market 331, 332 to be exact. I was going to 332 to be exact is the high of the pre-market. So we'll see, guys. Great volume on Facebook. Again, 563,000 shares traded. That's a lot of volume for Facebook, and we had a great day yesterday on this one. Unexpected move there. So that's it, guys. Oxy, Ride, OCGN, Apple, and Facebook are my top choices this morning. I'm going to take a look at the moderators lineup. Let's see what these guys have on their list today. Let's resize this, bring this over. As I am doing this, guys, please hit that thumbs up. It helps us out a ton, and we appreciate it very, very much. So thank you for doing that. If you have not done so already, we love to be within 300, 400 likes. That helps us out a lot, and it means a lot to our channel here. So thank you for that. All right, let's bring over our moderators watch list. Here we go. Let's see what we have. Starting with Eamon. So Eamon, potential longs. He has Space, Netflix, Edit plus Open, both very risky. And then potential shorts. He has CAN, Bank of America, MBP, advising that's risky as well. Thor. Oh, let's go back up. Here you go. Thor's looking at Apple, SPY, MRK. Secondary list, Facebook, Oxy, and mRNA. Mike likes Facebook and Apple this morning. Dima is looking at Apple, Oxy, Tiffany, Facebook, and Oxy as well. No IPOs for today, but we do got a couple of SPACs here. JMACU and some other ones on it. You can read those out if you like. Simon, he's looking at AMD, Bank of America, BP, and Space as well. Peter is looking at AMD, Facebook, Oxy, secondary list, Ride, MRK, and also Apple for his list this morning. So, okay, cool. We are looking pretty good, not bad. I mean, we got some stuff here that traded very well yesterday. I'm looking forward to another continuation today. So let's see if we can get some kind of continuation this morning on some of these. OCGN just keeps dropping. It just keeps coming right back down. They're only up now 6% with amazing volume. So very interesting pre-market action for them this morning. I saw a couple of the moderators having MRK on their list. This thing is starting to get very, very active. As you know, they have positive news on a COVID vaccine pill. Is it the pill? Something like that. I know AVIR was the other one as well that was talking about that, but they're not trading so well. MRK, it's a nice little drop here on MRK. Yeah, MRK could be the last one we add on here. MRK. Let's get some levels in here, guys. Highs and lows from the last two trading days are around the price action. We are creating our new low right now as we continue to drop here. So we'll wait to see where this stops, but it looks like maybe right here, 82, maybe 82. Let's put it at 82.02. Maybe they would get a little bit of a bounce right now. But again, the pre-market low is being created right now. We are down 1.2 and picking up nicely. Some two nice drops here in the pre-market so far. So we gapped up huge, if you guys remember on this one here. So we got this kind of little island building here. Are we going to hold, or are we coming back down to 77 here? John is coming in with his list. Tesla and Mara are both on his list this morning. So thank you, John, for that. And that's it, guys. This is all we have. I don't have anything else. Your watch list is a little. My watch list is off. Where is it? Where's my watch list? You should be able to see it here. Should be able to see my watch list. But that's it, guys. That is all we have. Thank you so much for joining us over on YouTube. We'll be transitioning over to the chat room for live trading with Brian and Andrew this morning. So they'll be coming on shortly and telling us what they like this morning on their list and kind of building that up. So to recap, guys, we have Oxy on our list. Let me see here. Oh, got it. Yes. I got it. See what you're saying. Thank you, Hamish. So here we have Oxy on our list, guys. Again, this one looking okay. I'm not a big fan of it right now, but it has potential to get better. Here's Ride. It's the only one that's down this morning. It is on short selling restriction, at least gapping down. That's important. Down almost 9% right now. Pre-market action very active, 1.5 million. We'll see where this goes today. OCGN. I love this pre-market action. It's very active, right back down to some of the pre-market lows right now. Still up 6%. Apple's pretty much flat, but we know we're going to get something here. 831,000 shares traded so far. We'll see how that's going to trade. And that goes for Facebook as well. Facebook has a better pre-market action than Apple does, right? We're getting better activity here. Less volume, but definitely a better and more interesting pre-market action. Looking forward to see how the day is going to treat Facebook, especially at the market open. And we have MRK here getting a little bit of a bounce of that 82. We'll see where this goes. Again, they have positive news that created this huge gap up. We'll see if that's going to create any type of continuation today for them. So, all right, guys, that is what we have. If you haven't done so already, before we sign off, please hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. We appreciate it very, very much. It helps the channel out a whole lot. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Do not forget, tonight we have our success webinar. Is going to be, is it part 2 or is it Jared? I believe it's Jared and Peter talking about the market cycle. So don't miss that. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So take care, guys. Trade safe over on YouTube, and we will see you tomorrow. Can we explain a quick question here from Corey? Can we explain briefly shorting on SSR? Yeah. So what you have to do is you can hit the you can enter a market order and get filled immediately, right? So for example, when you're shorting and you want to get in right away in a market order, you can go ahead and hit the bid and get in immediately, right? You don't have to wait. Obviously you lose the spread, whatever, but you can hit the bid and be in that trade immediately. When the stock is on SSR, they don't allow you to do that, right? The exchange does not allow you to hit the bid and drive the price lower or whatever the case may be. This prevents people from the stocks just completely crashing down. Everybody's selling with no control. When it's on the SSR, what happens is you have to sit on the ask to get filled. So for example, let's say you wanted to short this one. Actually, let's go to one that actually has an SSR, which is Ride, right? If I wanted to short Ride right now, I'll have to send an order and sit at the ask at 5:30. When the price ticks up and gets me filled, then I can join in the action, right? So in some cases, guys, I've been in trades where the thing is just waterfalling off and I'm trying to get in and I'll send an order and it sits there and the price goes away from me. I don't get filled. My order will stay right there if it doesn't tick back up, right? Because it gives an opportunity for people that maybe are in the trade to sell their, like for example, if they're long, to sell their trades. They get priority. If you're trying to short the stock, you don't get priority, right? That's kind of the way it works, I guess. So I've seen stuff where I'm chasing it. I cancel that order, enter another one at 525, and the price just continues to drop, and I never end up getting filled. So that does happen. So that's a short selling restriction. You have to sit on the ask, unfortunately. In some cases, you can get filled, but for the most part, if the stock never ticks up to your price, you might not get filled. All right. So hopefully that helped there if you are looking on how the SSR works if you want to get filled. All right, guys. Thank you so much over on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up. Appreciate it very much. We'll see you again tomorrow at 8 a.m. with Engineering the Markets, and then followed by Norm and I at 8:30. Take care, guys, and see you tonight for the webinar or tomorrow morning for our Engineering the Markets. Take care, everyone.